Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, where we're gonna splatter some dwarves. I don't know why, after all of the times that this thing has happened, the game thinks this is gonna go in favor of Belagar Ironhammer. But I'm glad it does, because otherwise we would have had to do this the old-fashioned way. Who wants +4 leadership? I mean, who's gonna need it? It's basically just people who are involved in melee, right? What do we currently have on you? Armor-piercing damage up? Because the thing is, +4 leadership is not going to let any of our units of Skaven slaves really stand in combat with any of these enemies, I don't think, with any of these dwarves. But I'd really rather have the armor-piercing damage on the clan rats, and then these two don't need the leadership bonus. That is not the problem that they are going to have. So yeah, I think that's where we're at. A lot of this is going to be, killing them at a distance before they engage in melee. That's where we're really at here. And of course, I have every expectation that our assassin is going to be able to fight most of these dwarves very successfully. He might have a problem with Belagar himself, maybe, but you might have noticed a lot of the enemy lords are way lower level than our stuff is. Their map agents tend to have level capped. We've seen a lot of level 40 dwarf guys running around and sabotaging. But for some reason, a lot of their lords, especially their legendary lords, are weirdly low level. Okay, that was a bad gamble. We don't know exactly where the dwarves are going to come in, but there's absolutely no reason for us to play forward, I don't think. We want to try to limit the advantage that they can get from the trees here. So we are going to have a little bit of a problem in terms of gunfire sightlines, I think. This is pretty flat, at least. It's inclined, but it's a flattish incline, so we can probably set the gunners up here and be okay. We don't know exactly where they're going to come in, of course. And then, yeah, just other bodies, be nearby. Probably not in front. And you two, whatever. Okay. You guys actually do want to be up here because we have to maintain vision. Somebody's got a spot for the catapults. I guess the power reserves are fine. The problem is not the reserves. The problem is everything else. So we don't want to be in a position where their crossbows can actually shoot at us. We just want to make sure that we can see them so that the moment they enter catapult range, they are getting catapulted. Alright, got lots of stuff coming in here. I'm just going to control group these guys. So there's the edge of catapult range. I do not think it's a good idea for us to try any shenanigans on them. We really do just want them to walk forward. Once they've committed a little bit, we will be able to harass the Giant Slayers very effectively with these Night Runners, but for the moment, we just need them to come forward. Also, because we're in a settlement, or in a region where the settlement has a defensive building, we do have access to the Warp Bomb, which, of course, we will get some use out of. And I'm going to totally remember to Clanstone before we shoot our Warp Lightning at them. That's the catapults and the guns and stuff are gonna make short work of these dudes. Not all of them, but many of them. And then we have tools. We are ready for the rest of them. I almost want to menace below and drop a Doom Rocket. I think we should have this without using the Doom Rocket, but now I'm a little nervous. The balance of power bar has put the fear into me. Where are we at on lightning range? Out here-ish. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and establish me a clanstone right about here. Trying to predict where those archers are going to go. And now we're going to start bringing up the summons, because I want to distract the enemies as much as possible. Right, we don't actually want them to approach. Give them reasons not to move forward. Do we want to do something fancy over here? Like, okay, so where are the... That's Giant Slayers, that's Giant Slayers, that's Giant Slayers. Those are the three easily killed units. They seem to be well in hand, frankly. I don't know that we have to do too much. How do we want to deal with those archers? I guess a brass orb. Yeah, a brass orb will do the job, and it'll catch some of these dwarf warriors as well. We have a Crack's Call available if that doesn't quite solve the problem. On the whole, though, things are going all right. Do we want to manually target the catapults? I guess we probably ought to start working on the units that are most concerning to us, which is probably like the Longbeards. I'm not really that worried about the yeah, guys with great weapons they're not particularly better than normal dwarf warriors against our comp, largely because our units are pretty bad. Yeah, so I guess we're firing over here a lot. There's still, like, there's a cluster of units over here. Let's work the Quarrelers a little bit with these guys. And keep an eye out for opportunities to employ the Warp Bomb. And do we want to... I don't really want to run the Night Runners across the front here, because we don't want to block the gun sight lines for even a moment. And I think we probably don't need to be over here, so let's do one of these. We're fast enough that that's, like, not unreasonable. Oh, but notice that the catapults have not fired in a little while. Okay, there they go. You know, it's just reload speed is all it is. Let's do a Crack's Call to slow down the advance of the melee troops here. It's not bad. Keep doing this. Keep just being distracting. Try to get back in there. What we'd really like to see is these guys... Oh, they're breaking again. I was going to say, these guys reaching those enemies so that we can warp bomb them. Because like we're going to have a lot of problems with units retreating when they are well over half health and thus not being warp bombable. You guys can start moving forward, I guess. Those dudes are about dead. Remember that we cannot rely on breaks from the Slayers. Slayers do not run ever, even when they obviously should. I think we're going to have our Assassin run out in front of everybody. I'd really, really, really like to keep the melee out of combat, because what they're mostly going to do is die. It's far more likely that they will die than that they will kill, and as soon as they're in melee combat, obviously we start blocking sight lines. We start losing vision. Okay, those guys look like they might be getting close to half. Come on. Come on. Alright, hold on. We do have to order some moves. You guys come back to here. You guys probably don't need to aim at that group of enemies anymore. Why don't you aim at this group of enemies? Those guys will probably actually just die, even against Skaven slaves, you know, having 0 armor is a problem. You have engaged in melee combat, so we'll throw up the debuff. And it's probably Warp Lightning time? It's probably Warp Lightning time. You know how I know that? Because it is always Warp Lightning time. I'm going to drop it right here, and we're going to intentionally damage some of our own units in an attempt to get them to under half health. Come on. There it is. There it is. That's beautiful. Look at that. The next summon is going right under there. Okay. This is going pretty well in a lot of places. Can't help but notice that you guys are having trouble firing. Oh, there's a little bit of a thing here, I think. Well, try shooting those guys. Yeah, there's a little bit of an uneven, like you can see. Line of sight. Line of sight's such a pain. Okay, you guys need to... I don't know. Get over here. Our assassin is, in fact, losing terribly. We're gonna put up his melee defense and speed and have him withdraw. Belegar Ironhammer. Turns out, even low-level dwarf characters are still dwarf characters. Okay, so this is happening. You guys have... Yeah, you guys have proper attack orders. You guys are doing your thing. These giant slayers are nearly dead. We're getting there. Okay, we're seeing some of the dwarf units collapse and flee, which is good. Do not like all of this cowardice that I am seeing. Need to get over here and help. Giant slayers are actually pretty well suited to fighting Rattling guns. Rattling guns are somewhat armored, but not actually good fighters. Okay. We've got surrenders now from all of the non-giant slayers. Those guys are pretty under control. I guess we'll use you here. For real, back up. A lot of our units seem to feel that a fair number of their orders are optional. We tell them to do stuff, and they're like, I'll consider it. Hey, Rattling guns, fucking back up. Yeah, there you go. You figured it out eventually. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was going through the auto-resolver's mind there. I can't imagine the situation where that army is able to defeat us. Like, what would we have to do? We'd have to start the battle with all of our gunners and our catapults facing the wrong direction. And then I would have to have a stroke. I would have to be felled by a congenital heart defect at the beginning of the battle so that I don't give any orders. And Belegar Ironhammer just, like, runs through our units one by one, smashing them all up. I don't know. So sometimes I wish that we could just, like, pry open the AI's brain and look at the plan, you know? It's like, what did you think you were gonna do here? But anyway, that's good. He's got 121 guys left. Almost all of his units actually died to the man. Which means that even though his army is not going to be completely eliminated here, they're going to be very close to eliminated, and we will be able to trivially kill them on our turn. And then we can have Bilefish turn around. This is that's a big victory for Ungrim Iron Fist. That one I get it. That one I see the plan. You know what the problem is? I think the AI is configured to want to win battles. And they don't really think about anything beyond that. So he's like, well, if I win this battle with Needling, and then I don't raise it or conquer it, then I can win a battle there again next turn. Think of how good that's going to be. That's 2 battles, not 1. Why wouldn't you optimize this way? One slight downside of the military alliance that we've made here is that now we have vision of more of the map, which means that it's going to run our camera around a little bit more over the course of the enemy turns. Alright, yeah, an assassination occurred. Belegar Ironhammer gives a terrible trait. We finished Master of Infiltration. Hey, remember how good Skaven are at diplomacy? Me too. Look at all this diplomacy. 167 improving toward 262. Buddy, my friend. Yes. Well, I suppose a truly monstrous leader might say a thing like, I have the best words. Looks like we're not going to be able to make a military alliance happen. Can I talk you into a war? It would be super helpful to me if you would declare war on Reichland. Moderate. I'm going to just... Okay. No, we're going to have to give him something. That's fine. That's fine. We can make that happen. So if you would join my war against the Reichlanders, I would be willing to part with 300 gold. Now let's try 3,000. Let's see if that works. Still says moderate. I think he would be a big help in terms of distraction. To be clear, I don't want him to go to war with the dwarves just yet. Actually, he took over this stuff, huh? Maybe it would be okay for him to go to war with the dwarves. There are two reasons that I might not want him to go to war with the dwarves. First of all, we really are just trying to focus on eliminating Reichland, and we know he has armies in the area. If he can just provide a temporary distraction, I think I can clean this up. But the other reason is, I don't want him to take over too many of these important settlements that we have to own to win the game, because obviously I want to own those. But if we could get him to take them over, and then we could convince him to confederate with us somehow, that would solve that problem. That would be a pretty good way of that happening. Okay. I bet there's no amount of money for which he is going to do that thing. That's fine. That's not a big deal. Is there anybody out there who might be willing to trade with me who is not currently trading with me? The answer to that question is no. Alright, Bilefitch leveled up. What was Bilefitch even doing? He was working on redline stuff. Well, feels to me like we might want to take... yeah, increases for Night Runners or weapon crews, right? What's actually gold ranks in his army? Actually, just the Night Runners, although the weapon teams are getting close. Well, I guess that makes it pretty straightforward. So more range, more speed. This is not a huge buff. Some of the things in this box are phenomenal. That one's only okay. All right. You fool. I don't know what you were thinking, but get murdered. And if there's one thing you could say about Bilefitch Stab that is definitely true, it's that he's just super brave. You know how brave he is all of the time? Alright, so pick up Stand or Die, which could be useful. And then he's in friendly territory. We could do a little bit of recruitment. I guess there's not any recruitment buildings here. We could run up to Massiforcal and then head through the mountains to get back to the front. And on the way through, we could potentially put down elf rebellions if... wow, positive values? And what is going on over here? Okay, not every place is positive. So we could enable taxation and try to drop them down to rebellion levels just so that we could fight some rebellions on the way through for a little bit of money and food. I don't think that's worth doing. I am, in fact, going to have him just run up to Massiforcal, do a little bit of recruitment, because his army's not full for some reason. For a reason that I'm sure is many, many turns old at this point, and I've forgotten what it is. And then he can rejoin us, fighting probably up here in this area, is his plan. I feel alright about that. That's like a real plan. Do we have a scout in this area? We don't. Well, Vomik, I guess you're it, buddy. We know an empire... There was a Reichlander army. They must have run toward the Black Pit, which does not sound like a Reichland kind of place. That really sounds like it ought to be owned by Skaven, doesn't it? Let's go own it by Skaven. Oh, Gorsel is free of enemy interference. This would be a good time to repair all the things. We can actually keep this alive until it is time to upgrade it. And there is a mysterious island just sitting out there in the bay. It could be packed with dollars. We haven't actually done a lot of this.
Yes.
Hadar is maybe not the most optimal army for treasure hunting. But you know what? Go see what it is. If it has a big battle associated with it, maybe we just won't take the battle. Okay. Perform better in battle. Let's do perform better on campaign. Got ourselves a trunk of maps, which is fine. And a luckstone, which is slightly better than fine, but only slightly.
Stink of command.
Let's go fast. I was kind of hoping we were going to get a movement range buff, which is not how that worked out. Alright, can you get within Gorsel's reinforcement range while ambushable? No, so okay, just go stand in there. We will defend Gorsel until such time as it can stand for itself. And we gotta go take Arnau back as well, obviously. Alright, over here. Do we want Obside? Try to take out that enemy agent. Probably, right? Let's have a quick look around.
Way.
So Aldebrand Ludenhoff ran to here. The other army ran that way, right? What is my current state? It gets in pretty good health. Can't select... okay, Infectique is looking rougher. We should be able to take Hergig with these armies, and yeah, absolutely we will be. Take Hergig with Ikit. Maybe. I'm just trying to think. Like, we definitely don't want to get attacked by two different armies simultaneously from two different sides, while also being low on health. So maybe the... How far can you move? Oh, right. Hergig's zone of influence is going to prevent us from moving across the river if we don't take it. What I was thinking is maybe we could just go to Middenstag, but obviously that's not an option. Well, you know what? We could just do this. That's fine. Infectique, just get over, please. He refuses. Okay. Let's go. I thought there was a little area here where he could have moved to. We'll do this to remove Hergig's zone of influence, and then we'll move in. And I suppose, actually, this allows me to just go to Middenstag. Although we can't guarantee that Ikit Claw would disengage in the right direction. But this is the thing to do. Okay. And they're not going to make me fight it manually. What a bunch of heroes. Let's just take that over. Alright, you guys are going to ambush. And we'll try to rebuild this place as quickly as we can. This could really use another growth building. How do you know when you have too many growth buildings? It's a trick question. What does that even mean? Too many growth buildings. Okay, we need to get some eyes on stuff down here. It might be a good idea to establish... dwarves. Might be a good idea to establish in Bel Aliad. It has a gold mine. I know it's not producing a huge amount of money right now, but it does have a gold mine. It could be producing more money. And more importantly, it's near a lot of stuff. We could like start spidering out another undercity from here. So I think that's going to be the plan. Also, we have to pick a new research. It's been a little while. Recruit rank +2 for a lot of units that we do recruit a lot of. Or some assassination chance up. More Skaven corruption. Honestly, I don't even know if we could take that. I might just go rule through fear. Weapon strength up for Death Runners and Eshin Triads. Yeah, weapon strength's not what I want from them. What I want from them is melee attack, but I guess we gotta take the technologies that are available to us here. Alright, looks like everybody's properly committed. Oh, apparently Toxer has a level up to spend. Let's go ahead and cap out Black Whirlwind. I know the other spell's good too, but I like Black Whirlwind a lot. Alright, so let's focus our money in places where it makes sense. Here, probably reasonable to do one of these. It's an extra 300 gold per turn, so it would take a while to pay off. We don't have a lot of places where we can do a thing that gives extra 300 gold per turn. I guess that's also an extra 300 gold per turn. Yeah, those are big investments. Do we have smaller, equally lucrative investments anywhere? Probably not, really. I guess we do need to make sure that we're getting our defenses settled as best we can in all of these places over here. Trying to capture and hold this stuff in some kind of lasting way. Repair. I know that dwarf army's right there, but let's make them have to stay and fight Needling instead of moving forward, if we can. We only have enough population to... I think I would rather try to hold Wartbad than get up walls around Flensburg, because Flensburg is not the first place that the enemies are going to show up, right? Also, we're totally going to have a rebellion over there, so that's a thing we're going to have to deal with at some point. Looks like public order is pretty good in a lot of places. Oh yeah, that's right. This is a thing I was going to do. Growth and public order and food and stuff. A reduction in food loss more than a gain of food. And then we just have so much stuff. So let's go over here. So we can build an underpass under a stronghold. That's really interesting. We don't actually care about that, obviously. I was just like curious what our options would be at a gate, since they're a very different sort of settlement. Mostly what we're looking for here is the places where the elves are making most of their money. Okay, here we've already got this mined under. We're making the money we can make. Where is Elisali? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Not really making any cash, though. And obviously, this building is equally good everywhere. Torfinu could be running one of those, I suppose. Is that going to push us above? Nope, that is going to take us back to 0 discoverability. Alright, and those pay themselves off really quickly. We gotta make sure that we're installing stuff. I've been so focused on the war. Here at Karak Izor, we could build something. I mean, we may as well put one of these up as long as this place is being taxed, right? Okay. I'm pretty happy to see this stuff. Do not mind at all the other rat player giving me a little bit of a buffer. Alright, I'm feeling okay about our position here. We're gonna see what happens with all these Empire armies. My hope is that Infectique will not get found out. They will do the obvious thing of having their 2 armies collapse on us from both sides, but because they can only move 1 army at a time, one of them will come forward and fall into the ambush, get devoured, and then, the other one probably chooses not to come forward at that point. I like this. I like all these Clan Morn's armies coming forward to help us, or coming forward to at least be useful to us. If we could get him to declare war on Reichland, I think we'd be in really, really good shape. So see, the AI is doing a lot of this. Where like it moved him up, put him in circle mode around the village, and then went and did other stuff, and then came back to him to issue the orders. I wonder why that is. Alright, these minor settlements that we're capturing out here in the hinterlands are doing exactly what we hoped they would do, is basically just like slow down the enemy and make their moves less potent. They're being drawn off, they're doing things that don't matter. It gives us a lot of time to catch up with them and make them pay for their insolence. Back to work, Wartbad, what a surprise. Look at that, he did that thing he was planning on. He won another battle the next turn. Sure would have been nice to get proper defenses up there. Oh yeah, I forgot to have our army in the mountains come down and put down their rebellion. I do wish that on the army tab, the army management tab, absolutely not. It wouldn't represent your armies as having 0 movement range left if they haven't moved. If you have an army that is sitting in ambush mode at the beginning of the turn, it is on you to remember that the 0 movement range displayed in the army tab is a lie, and that you need to go click on them and move them. It could just show you the amount of movement, the percentage of their movement range they have left. This is Hidar. Okay, so we could get a Warp-Forged Blade. I'm just going to take 3,000 gold. The rat's back. Gonna have some rebellions, yep. Also, every garrison got assaulted. What a surprise. Okay, yeah, Remamute was supposed to have done a thing last turn. Well, let's ride on this rebellion. This should be a very, very easy battle. Skaven rebellion armies tend to be, yeah, not very impressive. Some factions actually get, like, reasonable rebels. Not the Skaven so much. It's very fitting. To be clear, not complaining. I think it works. Alright, and then, yeah, we gotta worry about Thorgrim the Grudge Bearer. I do not have a plan for that. Next turn we'll be able to, or in 2 turns rather, we'll be able to start building a proper garrison building in that city, so that'll help with that area. Karak Ankazar definitely needs walls as soon as we can get them up. So we haven't talked a lot about Confederation. The AI has done a lot of Confederations, but in case you're not familiar with how the mechanic works, because it may be relevant to us in the near future, 2 different players who are of the same race, so like 2 Skaven players or 2 Empire players, one can confederate the other, and the person who offered the confederation basically just takes over all of the confederated person's stuff. The confederated player is removed from the game, and all of their things become owned by the confederator. It is a thing that we might actually be able to do, potentially, with Clan Moors or Clan Pestilence. In fact, Clan Pestilence seems eager to confederate, which means that probably their war's not going too well right now. There's non-zero value in confederating with them. I'm sure they own at least one of the settlements that we care about for victory, but also it'd mean that I now have to pay attention to this whole half of the map and their whole war. And are those Bretonnian? Those are Kuron settlements. How on earth did that happen? Okay, I'm gonna not deal with this right now. I'd actually be very happy to confederate Clan Moors. They're unlikely to go for it while they feel that we're stronger than they are. Clan Pestilence is basically just like, hey, I'm not doing so well. Maybe you could take over and save all of our lives. I'd bend the knee for that. So we're gonna leave Hergig immediately and press westward. I want to be able to kind of unite my forces and crush all this area, and then move to the east as a more coordinated group. So I think that's our plan. Defensive structure. Upgrade. I'm going to actually turn off taxation here. I don't really want there to be a rebellion at Teleheim right now. It'd be inconvenient for me. You know what we should do before we commit too much other movement? Where did Arat respawn? Okay. Over here, because this is close to where he was defeated, I assume. I think this is a pretty good place to have a scout. Can we get rid of that dude? Pretty likely. Because that guy's going to be a problem for our continued scouting. And then we can have Arat just harass Ungrim Ironfist as he moves through the hills. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we weren't doubling up on our scout positions, that everybody was actually in a place where they could be useful. Alright, I think we can have Infectique lead this attack, maybe? They're going to make me actually fight this. Even though this is not a real battle. Annoying. You know, I will have Ikit lead, then. Hold on. Let your reinforcements show up. No, you haven't done anything this turn. I'm actually going to have him jump in this army. He can contribute to the battle, get a little bit of XP. Okay, and they have, yeah, nothing. They have 6 units of crossbows and 3 units of guns. They have a cannon, but the cannon's not terribly useful in the siege, and then they have the 1 mortar. That my guess is they're not going to use very effectively. It's just a feeling I have. I would like to refill Infectique's his troops. Would like to get him some more storm vermin, which means we're gonna have to as we push west to meet up with the other armies and crush the Reichlanders in the middle lands there. We'll have Infectique dip back to Altdorf at some point. We don't have a lot of places where we can hire in storm vermin. And hiring them on the go using the global recruitment pool takes 4 turns, so not really an option. Well, not really an option unless doing it the other way would take you longer, obviously. Alright, obviously want to try to let the secondary army come in as unmolested as possible. Let's just get you guys over here and we'll figure everything else out afterward. Boy, that's a pretty low starting power reserve. That's fine. We'll fix it. These and then one of those. So they put a ton of guys. I guess there's only one gate. So they put a ton of guys behind the place where there is the gate. Actually, this is a much more defensible position than a lot of cities. Because there's so little happening here, they can stack up a ton of units right on top of the right on top of their siege gear. Wait, where's that mortar? This is the cannon. Oh, here's the mortars. The mortar's right there, right next to it. I am not opposed to dropping a Doom Rocket on this, just to try to, like, limit the damage we take a little bit. Because this is going to be a pain. Alright, you guys, get up here. The rest of you also get up there. Just figure it out. Make it work. Except for you guys. Probably something more like this for you guys. Okay. Well, also, I suppose the wheels should advance. Is this another situation where we're going to want to just break that gate open right away, do you think? Probably not, right? It would be nice if there was some kind of, like, pre-battle orders phase where we could say, like, we could set up a basic strategy for these dudes, so when they come in, they're doing something instead of just filing in off the edge of the map to accomplish nothing and then waiting for orders now, because it's not a big deal to pause and, okay, we could probably actually stop these now. It's not a big deal to pause and issue orders, but it's, like, a little tedious. It's a little more tedious than it has to be. Right, and probably their interest is in making the thing less tedious. Alright, let's have at you guys a little bit. And I think I totally am just going to drop it. We have a ton of Doom Rockets. I don't want to deal with this nonsense. And also we can get a couple of other enemy units while doing it. Yeah. That's fine. Deleted. Okay. Nope. Nope, just get over here. Just don't be in the range. Alright, our siege stuff will do the thing there. You guys need to... How far do we want to move these? Because they're probably... Yeah, they're not that far out of range. We can just have stuff sit in tower range. If we want to get out of that tower's range, we have to either... Yeah, geez. We have to either move this far forward or, like, all the way to the opposite corner. So that's not really even feasible. We'll just move forward to a place where we can hit the enemies, and we'll suffer a little bit of fire. The trees will help with that. The trees will make it less devastating. And you know what? We're going to grab some of these guys real quick. I think we either want to just mount the wall here, or I guess we could turn those catapults on the wall itself. Just try to shatter ourselves a hole. Then we could at least use our guns on this side to break things up. That might actually be the smart move. Because I don't think climb over and open the gate is very good. Alright, so if we want to take all of these artillery weapons and, like, shoot there. Yeah. That's how we'll distract them over on this side. And once we've weakened the guys at the top of the wall here, obviously, we'll send some people up. This Icky Claw's army requires a little bit more prep before they can mount the wall than the other armies do. Do I want a Clanstone? Are we going to use enough spells over here to justify a use of the Clanstone? Probably not. I'll just poke a little bit. Trying desperately to get out of that tower's firing range. Let's have the poisoned wind mortars form up right here and start working on the guys just on the other side of the gate. Skaven doing a remarkably bad job of killing a bunch of unprotected handgunners. Is there any place else where we could drop a pack of these guys right now to any effect at all? Not really, right? To be perfectly honest, I'm kind of thinking let's just like put another group of them to the task here. Alright, the wall's coming down. We're getting there. Sadly, nothing we can do about the tower projectiles here. Also, apparently this is firing at me now, despite the fact that that some of this unit sort of ran up on the wall, kind of. Sort of. Oh, you guys could move over slightly and I think deny them any shot at us at all. Okay, so the wall is breached. Sometimes you want to breach a wall. That's a thing that needs to happen. Where am I actually being fired at from? It's from these guys from inside the wall. Okay, let's lay that down on them. Also, you know what, a brass orb here would probably do some good work. That's maybe better than the warp lightning. Alright, this wall is breached. We need to advance on it in a sensible fashion. So let's start by doing this. And then, who's leading the push over here? We have like 1 or 2 units of storm vermin left. I guess you guys get ready to intercept anything that comes out. My guess is nothing's going to come out. And then we could just destroy this tower, I suppose. Like if we really can't reasonably move past it. What's its range look like? At this point, we'd have to. You know what? Honestly, it's probably better for you guys to just get out of the way. How much damage does it take from a full volley? Oh, that's not so bad. It's almost never worth the trouble of destroying a tower, but this might be a situation where it is. Okay, they're gonna try to take control of this tower. We're just gonna go inside then. They don't have enough units to make this a sensible play. So I thought you guys were supposed to be firing. Well, whatever. Oh yeah, they panic and run away. We get inside. Okay. Oh no, my hidden units are revealed. So they have a unit of swords over here. I'm just trying to figure out like what is the actual approach now that we have a breach. Do we want to march guns down this side and just fill this street with lead, or does it make more sense to go around and start working the town's center? I think it probably is the latter, right? They don't really have a lot of fast units, so it's not like they could surround me if we push down here. We could try to thin this stuff out and actually open the gate for the fast units from this army to come forward. I'm torn. I think they're both approximately equally functional plans. In the meantime, let's have you guys all get over here. And it looks like they've abandoned this tower, so the siege gear can stop moving. And in fact, it's better if they reform like over here now. Let's try to get everybody out of the firing range of the tower. We're having some problems actually getting into the... Why are we... Guys, get over here. Why are we all just stopping in the gap? Alright, and then those swordsmen, they can, you know, come down and join us whenever they feel like it. I think Infectique can probably... No, not the swordsman. There we go. Infectique can probably shatter those swordsmen by himself. Alright, and we're getting to kill an awful lot of dudes over here. I guess we should clanstone that. I kind of can't believe those guys are still standing. We've done some good work on this side. They are responding to our push over here, which is awesome because it means that we are going to very, very soon be in position to push the other side. So, where's my lord? He has distracted some, but not many of them. Get you over there, upside, and where's the other unit of storm vermin? Here. Fight these guys. You help with the fighting of these guys. Okay. The gun units need to not be engaged in melee with people if they can absolutely avoid it. Shouldn't be a thing I have to keep telling them all the time, but it very obviously is a thing I'm going to have to keep telling them all of the time. And then we need to be a little bit careful with how we issue these orders, because our units are like, they're eagerly looking for ways to misinterpret things, it feels like. We're going to save the Assault of Stone. I was thinking maybe we should just drop it as they run in to try to break them up. I could do this. Overcast is 17. It does so much damage that I would really want to use it in a place where it's going to actually hit people. So probably not spend it so much on the moving targets. Because it's so expensive. Okay, let's do that. You have to get all the way in the back. And I'm going to grab the flamethrowers and turn off their fire at will. They do so much friendly fire damage. We have to be really cautious with them. Okay, you two, I don't even know what to do with you. Just get over here, we'll figure it out. And I might use a Menace Below charge just to buy us some time. Let's prevent the advancement of all these units for a moment. Just stop them up. Hey, get over here. You were told to go over here. Alright, I think we got these guys mostly under control. I mean, they're just normal swordsmen, right? It shouldn't take much. Actually, now that I've done this thing, this is probably the moment for the Black Whirlwind. Look at that. Look at all those guys. We gotta make sure that we are doing this thing on cooldown, because we are actually going to have very serious problems with our Winds of Magic. And I can't overcast, but do I want to just throw one more down? Yeah, let's do this. And then after that goes off, we're going to hit the Wand of Jet. Remember, we have to try to minimize losses here a little bit. It's actually really working. Apparently I have too many units selected. What I'm trying to do is open up a gap here. So hold on. You guys need to be right here. And everybody else needs to get the hell out of the way. Because we need an open firing line. You guys also just come over here and fight. We want to make sure that the units that have to get back here are getting back behind where I've told the gunners to go. It's really, really valuable for us to have this open firing line. Right, let's see how that works. God, the Black Whirlwind, like, completely annihilated all of those units. It's so good. Sorry, upside could... Oh, no, never mind. Not needed. Okay, apparently that tower... we're just in the edge of that tower's firing range. I'm pretty bored of musical towers, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright, that lord is... That's not a lord, right? Yeah, captain is a hero. That hero is going to be dead very soon. As soon as we actually get the bodies out of the way here. Their lord is in the middle, hiding behind what's left of their siege crews. There we go. That right there. That is what I was trying to get set up. They're going to have a very hard time advancing on us now. Camera, could you maybe cooperate with me just like a tiny little bit? Let's get you forward and prepare to deal with anybody who might make it through the gunfire. I don't feel like a lot of people are going to make it through the gunfire. This is where you go to die. My own troops going. Hey, do you guys think we should run away? Have we considered fleeing from this situation? So after they stop running units down here at us, which I assume is going to be pretty shortly, we are going to definitely want to creep up a little bit. We can basically just hollow out this whole area behind the gate. We're going to have a little bit of trouble as we approach with the archers. That's part of the reason I'm trying to keep an eye on our winds of magic and make sure we're feeding the reserve pool. Because I'd love to get to the point where we could drop another whirlwind. Alright, our warlord is, without question, a badass and a monster. But he should not fight halberds by himself. Then again, maybe he's going to be just fine. Something to be said for the beast he's riding. Halberds are specifically designed to defeat such a beast. And yet, somehow I think things have turned out alright. I feel so bad for them. I feel kind of bad for them. They are trying to murder me, to be fair. And you might say, hey, SB, they're only trying to murder you because you are breaking into their city and trying to kill everything they've ever known and loved. And I hear what you're saying, but also, they're not rats, you know? What is the range on these guys? Oh, they can actually... Maybe we're fine as we are. Maybe we don't need to do any kind of creeping forward at all. Did y'all lose your catapults? No, that's... Your catapults... Hold on. Some of these must be... No, never mind. None of those are yours. All 4 of those catapults belong to the other unit. Well... You guys can just stand back and wait a little bit. So what we could do is split the gunners up. Have one of these 2 gun units come over to here. That might be worth doing. Remember that we have infinitely regenerating ammunition on our Rattling gunners. So we are in no danger of running out. And to be perfectly honest, this army just sitting over here and keeping this number of units from joining the battle is probably fine. We don't really need to engage them any further. We just keep pressing the buttons over here to pour more magic into the pool. Akit Claw is passing his miscast rolls, so he's not taking any damage. I'm just going to keep letting this happen until the mortar team is out. They're pretty close to done. Where do we want the Doombringers? I think I want the Doombringers back here. The AI, I think one of their greatest weaknesses, and I think it would be fair to say, they have several, more than one by a bunch. One of the greatest weaknesses of the AI is that they just don't know how to deal with ranged superiority. If you have outgunned them, you have, in a lot of cases, you have beaten them already. I'm gonna have our gunners creep forward on this. We have a bunch of melee troops nearby. If things go sideways, we have a plan. And I want to do the very last of the mortar fire into the town center. I also really want to get an overcasted Black Whirlwind into the town center, so I'm hoping that we can... One more pop of Akit Claw's Winds of Magic abilities should make that happen. What is your plan, guys? Are you really just going to stand here? I'll tell you what, this isn't working. I think they're trying to maintain control of the gate. They don't want to move out of the gate, but this is a bad plan, man. Go somewhere else. Okay, we have range on those guys already. poison wind. I would love it if we could get the poison wind mortars to fire their last volley actually into the town center. Because it's such a, what we describe as a tower-rich, target-rich environment. All right, we needed 17, right? Yeah, that should do it. Where is this guy? Toxer. We need you over here. I'm a little worried about issuing a specific targeting order to them because I don't want them to just run forward, which is what I think is going to happen. But I'd really love it if you could just, like, drop a shot right there. Oops, that's... sorry. Not you guys. I thought for a second there I had the wrong target selected. Or the wrong unit selected. They literally just stood still and waited for me to kill them all. You gotta question the decision making. It feels like there's some errors being made. Alright. An Assault of Stone looks pretty good. So let's start with the Black Whirlwind. Right here seems like it would be alright. Followed up with like an Assault of Stone over here. And these units are already in considerable trouble. Hey guys, you lost! I don't know how long it's going to take for you to notice. Okay, there we go. That took a minute. I am very pleased with our losses there. Yeah, 34 losses on the army that actually charged the walls. That is how you maintain a fighting position in case of reinforcing armies. I've had, over the course of... I've been doing, at this point, Total War Warhammer series for actually kind of a lot of years. And I've had a number of people complain in the comments. It happens. About my siege style. You should just run the units up and fight on the walls. But, like, look at all the zeros on this ball. Look at all the guys who didn't get to do anything at all. Look at our tiny, tiny losses. Look at what a strong defensive position we have now in our new city. This is why I do it the way I do it. There's still an argument to be made that it's boring to watch, and, and I do feel bad about that. But you can't argue with the efficacy. Alright, Mittenstag does not need one of those. It needs to grow and become self-sufficient. Fektik, very, very close now to be immortality. Also, he's going to become even more corruptive. I'm really excited about immortality, though. Do we want to grab Warp Fireball? No, I don't want to do anything that's going to slow down Arcane Conduit this time. I know I did things in a different order last time, but I think I had made an error. Grab Brittle Bones, then Magical Reserves. He doesn't overcast enough for me to prioritize the what do you call it? For me to overcast or to highly prize the miscast chance lowering skill. I think we're going to find that he only ends up casting like 3 or 4 times per battle. I guess Warp Stars are okay. They're not so good in siege battles because they're a direct fire spell, but they're not unreasonable to use in other circumstances. Alright, so here he'll be able to pick up some more weapon teams or something. I don't know what we'll do with him. To be perfectly honest, the thing I need most is melee troops. Ismasaforka will have more slots for buildings pretty soon. In fact, you know, we could just demolish this and start building up another recruitment structure right now. Obviously, we still make money off of this. It's still valuable. But we could rebuild it later. We don't need the growth anymore, and we could at least be able to recruit clan rats. Well, it would take multiple turns though. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just build the clan rat recruitment structures in the slots that we're opening up now. Okay.
Guide us, Horned One.
So we need to let's reclaim Arnau first, and then we'll move inland. We might want to just like sweep along the northern coast. We're gonna have to take out these elves, right? They're gonna declare war on us at some point, no matter what we do. So yeah, Hadar and Vomit will go north. these other armies over here will like sweep up, and then we just have a big wall of rats pushing to the east from there. Vomit doesn't need to initiate the battle. Just have him nearby. Never mind. Vomit needs to initiate the battle. There's no movement range from Hadar here.
I am warlord.
Don't know who these guys are. What's your deal?
I say move.
The Abominations. A Beast Lord, some Crypt Ghouls, a Hell Pit Abomination, a Cygor. Okay, I get what they're going for here. This is an army of big scary monsters. To be perfectly honest, that seems like they're probably pretty fun to command. Okay, apparently we will not be attacking Arnau this turn. That's fine. I am not concerned. It's got, yeah, totally base level garrison. Technically, we should step away so that the garrison cannot function as reinforcements to any other armies, but I would not be concerned about that happening, really. Let us go and claim Bel Aliad for the Undercity. Also, this will give us some good vision. Well, will it? Am I going to end up establishing the undertunnels here? Probably I am, right? Yeah, we'll get vision from the other settlements that we take nearby. And also give me... We can't start digging. Well, that being the case, then probably don't give me anything else. Yep, Stirland, we'll deal with Stirland. I'm a little annoyed about the loss of Wortbad because that means that we don't know where the rebel army's going to spawn. If Ungrim Ironfist could have stayed away from Wortbad for like 2 or 3 more turns, that would have been pretty helpful to us. Alright, is everybody good? Did we actually give everybody orders? Yes. I'm a little concerned about the strength of the dwarves on our border. We've got the Reichlanders on the back foot, and I think there's a pretty good chance that they will never recover. That we will be able to maintain momentum and keep breaking them faster than they are able to repair the damage. But the dwarves are swelling. That's why they have those long beards. They're trying to hide all the unsightly swelling. We're forming a plan here that has a lot of our armies in the north and west parts of our territory, and not so much in dwarf fighting position. We have Remamute, Bilefitch is coming back, and he'll be able to help out. But it's definitely non-ideal. Yeah, see, after we reclaim Karelberg, that'll be a perfect time for Infectique to rebuild his army. We can let those guys attack Hergig, that's fine. Boy, look at the cowardice. All of those armies allowing themselves to be driven back one by one. Also, are these the fastest dwarves in existence? Just full speed running through that whole forest? Part of me wants to fight this battle manually just to break down some of their siege gear. Honestly, maybe, because they're pretty low on ranged units. So we're going to be able to draw their army forward considerably. You know what? Yeah, we should probably do that. Let's do that at the beginning of next time, because we need to slow this army down so that we have time to maneuver Remamute against it, and he has that other dwarf army to deal with. It's a whole big frustrating problem, a whole big frustrating hairy problem. That's going to be it for us for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time. Sometime this weekend, I think. I feel like I owe you guys an episode for Monday, so I'll try to find time this weekend to get another episode out. Come back then for this. I feel like every single episode I'm saying, hey, come back next time so that we can kill these dwarves who just showed up. But you know, that's the world we live in. We have a lot of dwarves who need killing. So come back next time for more dwarf killing, and we'll see you then.